Our final speaker in this session is Dr. Dennis Hill, Chair, President, and CEO of IHRIM Ihram. Dr. Dennis, we present on new HCM, HRS models for the Web3 era. Dr. Hill, the stage is yours.
Can you hear me? Yes. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Until I was a professor.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. It's, again, a pleasure to be here in Alexandria and to meet with all of you. Amazing people, simply an amazing conference. Thank you, Tahia, and the people at the Port Training Institute. This is going to be a very intense 20 minutes. And I apologize if I speak too fast. The slides are very complete. I have timed this out perfectly so that if you have questions afterwards, I'm available. I don't think I'm leaving Egypt ever. I love this city. So thank you so much. I am going to talk about several things that include AI. Is that okay? Okay. I'll try it. That's not what I want. Did I mess up? I'm an engineer. Of course I'm going to mess it up. Thank you. Okay. Advance left and right. Got it. Okay. Thank you. All right. All right, very short agenda. Can I walk around a little bit? Is that all right? I've got to be careful of the camera, right? Okay. Yeah. Oh, it's a moving camera? Right. You can tell I was a professor, right? It's my classroom. But you're in control. Do you know why? I have one mouth. All of you have two hands. You can stop me at any time, right? Be brief, be bright, be gone. The 3 B's for teaching. So we have 11 topics that we will cover in 20 minutes, 18 minutes. Why convergence now? And why am I talking convergence? All of us in here, I think, have been around since PCs were invented. We're very well aware of disruptions technologically. We've experienced them at the PC level, at the office integration level, at the e-commerce level. You were all asleep when blockchain came out, and that's okay because it's invisible if it's doing it right. And of course, we had our prime disruption with the COVID pandemic that led us immediately into AI. All those people working in their homes, working with Grok and chat and AI. Now AI, I'm going to talk about every one of these things. AI is a unique technology in 2 respects. From all technologies ever invented by man, going back to fire and the wheel. Every technology before added labor capacity. AI is the first technology that displaces labor capacity. The other thing is, unlike any other technology that we've invented, it is instantly scalable. So if you come out of here with 2 things at all today, it's those 2 facts, that AI is instantly scalable and it is the first technology to displace labor capacity. And all of the analytics show this, that there are not enough new jobs in creating AI to keep up with the displacement of jobs that will be lost due to AI. Okay? That's a reality check. HR pain points. I talk to HR practitioners all the time. AI, cognitive automation, and then distributed ledger technologies, which extend well beyond blockchain. Edge computing, these technologies, there we go. These technologies form into what's called the Web3 era. We're hearing AI era. I speak a little bit larger about the Web3 era and what that involves. robotics and autonomous technologies, when they converge in Web3, HR case scenarios, HR leadership imperatives, and summary. 14 minutes? Why convergence now? And why do we even need to be concerned with this? I don't want to disagree with any of my colleagues, but everybody here is under the delusion that because you can Google, you're actually smarter than what you are. Have you noticed that? People became experts in doing Google, and somehow they became geniuses overnight because they know how to Google. Well, it's the same thing with prompt engineering. Prompt engineering by itself is a wonderful skill to have, just like being an accurate Googleizer, right? Somebody who can do Google checks. But it isn't the prompt engineering that's really all that difficult to learn. It's the context. And context comes from wisdom. It's telling the LLM, it's telling the engine in what frame of mind, in what level of experience does it need to respond to you. And of course, as a result of some very, very bizarre behaviors in the algorithms, AI will hallucinate. AI will even lie to you. AI will learn what kind of answers you're expecting and will actually give you answers like that. See, I see people, have you done that? Right? Ask Sora or ask ChatGPT to draw a full glass of wine. It will not do it. Try it. Just create a full glass of wine. Human resources will be the most affected by this, more so than automation. We can build intelligence today into autonomous vehicles, into mechatronics, even into drone technology. We've seen some beautiful drone delivery systems that Amazon is putting up all over North America. I think there's some experiments going on too over here in Europe and in the Middle East. But HR, as an early adopter, due to the fact that we have a global workforce that we need to deal with at scale, we're concerned with international compliance, and as we've already heard from my esteemed colleagues, skilling, upskilling, unlearning, unskilling, developing a whole new set of technical fluency requirements. So the convergence now really comes from the fact that these technologies are maturing. They're experimental in some regards, but the vast majority of these are already mature. And so it's an appropriate time for us to consider the convergence from AI, agentic, and cognitive automation to the distributed ledger technology that will deliver trust and integrity, to edge computing that provides real-time immediacy layer in our systems, Web3 that democratizes the transactions completely. If this is all new technology to you, that's okay. You're going to have to learn it in the next year or two. So I'm showing a lot of words here. The terminology is changing, and I'm hoping that at least some of this sinks in. And then finally, robotics. This is all tied in to this convergence in the Web3 era. The HR pain points today are very clear. How many people are actually HR practitioners or oversee an HR department in here? Okay, all right. Now, how many of your departments still use spreadsheets? See, they're still very popular. When I look at gap analysis in organizations, I look for the people that are using spreadsheets. Because in most cases, they have built systems outside of the actual integrated system that's supposed to be their SAP or Workday or UKG, right? So you look for those spreadsheet people. They can't hide. They have created data silos and they create compliance risks. We have verification bottlenecks when it comes to skills. And there's increasing demand, of course, in our workforce for personalization and inclusion. How do you make all this happen except without cognitive automation, AI? So the analogy here of AI in this big Web3 scheme is that it's a comparison of using camels versus steam engines. In America, I use horses and steam engines, right? So I try to adapt my conversation to my audience. But I've been here now for 4 days and I haven't seen a camel. So I'm going to disappoint all my colleagues if I don't see a camel before I go back. I've seen dinosaurs. So cognitive automation actually is very disruptive. We're living it right now. As I've already said, it is an intentional labor displacement. It is instant scalability. It provides for us these wonderful opportunities in HR applications such as recruiting co-pilots. It takes pretty much between 25 and 30 days to hire somebody new within an organization. It might be longer, it might be shorter, but that's pretty much the average. Co-pilots will change all of that. The idea of being able to maintain a pool that you can dynamically farm or mine candidates from. Obviously, we talked about predictive maintenance in the automation area of AI, but we also have predictive attrition in our workforce. Who does have the fundamental skill set to commit to lifelong learning? And then adaptive learning itself. Everybody has different learning styles. I'm a visual learner. I am not an audio learner. You just don't try to teach me anything without pictures. I won't understand it. That's just where I'm at. Some people, particularly people at the Port Training Institute, are very tactile. They need hands-on. So a lot of the people that work in the industry are tactile people. They learn by doing. So AI will help us do all of this, and integrating these solutions using an integrated platform as a service, all managed by agentic AI or AI agents, will help us achieve all of these things at the same time that traditional integrations using APIs. Anybody know what an API is? Okay. All right. That technology is how we have patched things together. All right. Third point about AI and Web3, you can't patch your way to it. Android, iOS, Windows, the operating systems, all gone. They will be replaced by large language model operating systems. In other words, right now, we're attaching AI to databases and extracting that and having some very nice time with that information, but it's external to the systems. The new ERP systems, I don't think that was me. Yes, it was. The new ERP systems, CRM, and HCM systems, that level of integration among those three systems are going to be critical. I see people saying, yes, so you must be the IT people who have to do this work. Very good. Or you're the finance people who have to pay for it. Distributed ledger technology, Bitcoin, and cryptocurrency, that is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about an entire crypto economy where people's education, certifications, government licenses, and things like that are stored on a personal blockchain so that you can instantaneously evaluate people's backgrounds for jobs. So this idea of taking 2 dozen, 3 dozen days to evaluate somebody before you hire them, not anymore. And I've been working with companies and organizations around the world since before COVID on this technology. Some of you might even be familiar with the World Economic Forum's Presidio principles, which came out about 2016, that really pushes this notion that your data, everything about you, should belong to you, and that Amazon, the banks, the universities, the governments are just gatherers of that information. Ultimately, it's your digital DNA. So what we have here is an analogy in terms of the digital area of working with like an old bookkeeping system on a ledger versus a computerized accounting system. This evolves away from blockchain, which of course is what Bitcoin is based on, but it's also very slow. The new technology are really these directed acyclical graphs or DAGs, Merkle DAGs, which look like blockchain, but they're web. And where blockchain might take upwards of hundreds of milliseconds to seconds to compute the next data parity in the block, web chains can do 10,000 of those transactions in a second. So this is the emerging distributed ledger technology. That's why I really rarely use the term blockchain now, because it's really these web chains that are going to give us that integrity level manage the data so it's immutable and verifiable and totally portable in a global workforce. So where do we have this? The concept of smart contracts being used actually for payroll systems, compliance and regulation, and cross-border work, all handled instantaneously. And of course, we see the passes coming out in the European Union in the next year that they've already started using through their ports of entry. All of this digital ID is taking over because they are building on this verifiable and secure digital layer. Edge computing. Somebody was talking earlier about computers and how fast they are. The fastest computer we have today is probably sitting in your hand. Certainly faster than anything we've ever had before. And tablets and devices like telephones that have already converged telecom, data, and so forth into one handset is going to become more prevalent as we report time, report quality control, report these production issues at the point of capture and application. This is a lot like having substations in a digital grid, having your own battery-generated power system associated with your home, or a wind generator, or solar panels, but at a scale that is unimaginable today. In fact, I have 5 data centers within 2 hours of where I live. The largest data center in the world, which Microsoft is building, is 20 minutes from where I live. And what is key isn't the computing power. It's not the NVIDIA chips or the AMD chips. It is the thermodynamics in building these centers so that they can be cooled. If you're generating a gigawatt of power in order to compute, you also have to disperse a gigawatt of heat. And that's where this comes in. All right. So thermodynamics and edge computing gives you that ability to compute at very low latencies. You're not delaying decisions. This comes into play in workforce safety, in wellness programs, and in productivity monitoring in real time. And the decision making is farmed out to that level. Then finally, Web3 itself. It's the town hall of the economy. It's where ownership of work becomes tokenized. It's where we all begin to feel that we're included in the entire process. The idea we're going to see layering and hierarchies really disappear as a result of Web3 inclusion. And that's because we need the information to our job. We need to feed the information to the processors for our job. Ultimately, this gives us a need for decentralized governance within our organizations and the ability to own things as say in real estate on a fractional basis. You don't have to buy an entire house. You can live in an apartment building and be a fractional owner of that, one of, say, thousands of people that own it. What does this mean for HR specifically? Tokenized benefit pools and digital application organizations for workforce voice, for feedback, for engagement of your workforce. Game changing again. I won't go through this in detail because I'm running out of time. But there are lots and lots of game-changing benefits from tokenizing. Again, I want to mention, we will not patch our way to this. This requires the software companies to completely redesign their software from the inside out, beginning with the large language models. So, who needs to be the early adopters? It needs to be the software companies. It needs to be the Workdays, the UKGs, the Oracles. The robotics and autonomous technologies are how we affect, at the end, the embodiment of our work. And this is as if the assembly line has brains to meet challenges. I give you some examples here, such as on-time ship delivery. That's a challenge. Optimizing shipyard infrastructure. That's a challenge. And of course, in the HR space, workforce planning, workforce management. These are things that really need to be streamlined. And AI, only AI can handle the complexities and provide timely answers on all of this. So some examples here are collaborative robots or cobots, exoskeletons, and we heard earlier human augmentation, human augmenting systems, critical. Ergonomics, safety, and frontline workforce augmentation are the HR applications. So if you're responsible for HR, these slides will give you basically a checklist of things that you should be aware of, and be prepared for this. Artificial intelligence has welcomed us back to the days of the Wild West. That is absolutely where we're at. Nobody has a single solution. Chances are the number one player in this space will not be a company that we know today. And my proof is Google. Google is the 28th search engine to be released on the market. And look where it is today. It's going to be the same thing in the AI space. So we need to keep an open mind. We need to look at the emerging technology companies. We need to not become software companies ourselves. We really do need to push that to our vendors to be responsive. And when they converge into the Web3, this is what we get. AI thinks, digital ledger technologies guarantees trust, the edge delivers information and captures that instantaneously. The Web3 ensures inclusion of everybody in the workforce and in management that has a need to know, and robotics executes. What does this do for us? I'll give you an example in HR. Blockchain verified skill passport, instantaneous, immutable, cannot be hacked, immediately verifiable. AI job matching. No more waiting till tomorrow to get your candidates from ZipRecruiter or LinkedIn or Dice or Indeed. Edge delivers feedback in real time, and robotics augments the execution on site. I'm going to skip through this case scenarios very, very quickly. I know I've run out of time. You're very kind. Hiring. Instant trusted credentialing. Instant. Now that you can't even think about that in HR today. Nothing's instantaneous. Pay. Setting them up on a payroll via smart contracts and triggering cross-border and jurisdictional issues. And huge issue, huge problem since COVID. Learning. Obviously, AI personalization. That's why our organization, IREM, has expanded into a fifth knowledge domain around the L&D model because it needs to be part of the overall HCM, HRIS role. And then safety itself, the sensors and the robotics in the field. Leadership imperatives. Leaders need to move from just technical literacy, or what we hear data literacy, to technical fluency. You need to be immersed in it, just like you learn a second language. You cannot avoid this. This will create two poles in the spectrum, people who are technically fluent and those who are not. There really is no middle ground. So upskilling people and assessing their abilities is vital in establishing a succession plan for your leadership in the future, and that's what Doctor was talking about earlier. Define governance frameworks for AI that include robotics and blockchain, and the overall ethical considerations for that. And then prepare the workforce for human-machine collaboration. We have collaborative robotics today. Human beings working right next to robots. I see it in production companies all around the world. This is on a grander scale when we're talking about maintenance and operations, especially in the maritime industry. I don't see a complete replacement, as we've said earlier, of human beings, but we do see routine and transactional things being codified and being done by smart technologies. Summary. What I've talked about, whether you agree with me or not, is inevitable. How's that? We can debate, but it's inevitable. I've only been wrong twice in 45 years when it came to technology. The first time, when I thought I made a mistake, and the second time when I realized I hadn't. We are looking at a convergence here of these technologies at the same time. As disruption at a scale we've never seen before. HR must lead in re-architecting, trust in the organization, intelligence, and augmentation. These are sort of roles in HR, but they really, really are pumped up in the Web3 economy. And as I said in my opening remarks today, and I'll say it again here, I come from an academic as well as a business background. Lifelong learning is our greatest force for social progress. We have to stay in a learning mode. I tell people this all the time. I just went to law school and graduated in 2018. I was 58 years old. All the other students in the class were half my age. You cannot not learn enough. And with AI, remember that context? The more of a polymath your context writers are, the better results you're going to get from AI. So don't be isolated, be broad, be inclusive. And with that, I thank you.